All right. Okay. Mama. No? What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Soulful Talks. This is episode ding 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 10. You're gonna say something. What are you gonna say?
Nothing.
You're gonna say something.
Nothing.
I know you had something to say. But, okay. Jumping off into this episode, the title, we are talking about young and married today. We are talking about marriage. As Michael Scott would say, marriage brings us together. So I'm excited. I feel like this is something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Sandy B don't want to talk about it because she's like, I don't even like you, fool. Just kidding. Put a ring on it.
Just kidding.
AG is in the building. Alexander Gray is sitting with us. He's frustrated, apparently. Hopefully he allows us to get another episode in. This is our third episode with this little guy chillaxing with us. This is true parent life. If you thought this was about looking cool, you played yourself. That is not what we do. This is the real deal. We are here in the bedroom shooting the podcast. So I feel like a really good place for us to get started is our marriage story, or just our relationship story in general. We can talk a little bit about our relationship, how we met, how we started dating, how we got married, and what brings us to this beautiful moment, 2020, world recovering from a pandemic. A yawn. One big yawn. Sandy says. Okay, cool. So, babe, take us back. It's 2008.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
You're a 7th grader. You go with your best friend to the school carnival of Kyrie Middle School, and you see this fly young brother.
I do not see
just
a fly
sitting across the way.
brother.
And Slowed Down by Bobby Valentino starts playing.
Okay.
Slow down. I just want to get to know you. So, anyways, that's not how it happened. That's how it happened in my head. But
No.
how did we meet?
That is not how it happened in your head.
That's
You're
how it
a
happened in my
liar.
head.
You're a liar. Lies.
Okay, so let's walk them through how we met. It was actually 2008,
It was a carnival.
And it was a school carnival.
And I was with my best friend.
And you were with your best friend. True that.
Yes.
Shout out to Paulina. Bow.
We
Nice.
we were at a carnival and she was friends with you.
She's one of my
With
good
your group
friends.
of friends.
Your best friend, one of my good friends.
Right. And you guys, like, she just introduced me to you guys.
I guess I can tell my part because I'm kind of the reason we met because I approached you guys.
You did?
What?
Wait,
Yes.
you did come up to us?
Yeah, I did.
I don't remember that.
Clearly you don't remember this story. We're gonna rewind a little bit.
Yes, let's hear it from your perspective.
I'm gonna take
All
this
I
one.
remember is walking.
You just
doing
remember
food.
turning the corner,
Okay.
slow motion, see me whipping my hair in slow mo, drinking from the water fountain. But so yes, I was with my friends, my boys, my posse, and you were with Paulina, and I'm sure if you're listening to this and you know us or you've known us for a while, you probably know this story and have heard it 100 times. Yeah. But I was with my friends, and one of my boys wanted to talk to you. He saw you, and I literally, in my head, the funny thing is I literally remember the situation of like walking up, and I don't know if it really happened, but like in my head I see like Jacquees, Rashad, Maurice, like I see all my boys just like in a huddle, and they're just like talking and looking over, right? And I walk up and I'm like, oh, what's up? Like just being stupid. Like, what are you guys talking about? And they're like, have you seen Paulina's friend? And that's for sure. That really did happen. Because I literally, I kid you not. I kid you not. I literally remember that detail. That they were like, Oh my gosh.
It doesn't get cuter than
Oh, this dude is tripping. But I literally remember them saying, "Have you seen Paulina's friend?" And I was like, "No. Who are you talking about?" And they're like, yeah, our friend over there, da, da, da. We didn't know your name, obviously, so they're just like, our friend, she fine, da, 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 all this stuff. And I was like, okay. And I was in 8th grade, you were in 7th grade. And I remember asking one of my boys, do you want to talk to her? And he was like, yeah, I do. And I was like, you want me to talk to her? And he's like, yeah, because he didn't really know what to say. So I was like, okay, I'll go over there. So I went up to you guys, and that's when we met, because I walked up to Paulina, and I was like, hey, what's up? And I just started talking. I was like, oh, and I don't know if I introduced myself. I'm pretty sure I introduced myself.
Probably.
Like, because when you're in middle school, nobody's like, hey, this is Sandra. This is Mark.
Right.
Like, nobody really introduces people. But I'm pretty sure I walked up, and I just started talking to you guys. And I think right off the bat, I was like, I'm pretty sure I mentioned, like, one of my boys wants to talk to you. And you're like, you just kind of chuckled, like, kind of did your little giggle. And you're just like, oh, no, like, I have a boyfriend. I was like, oh, okay, for sure, whatever. And we started talking. And I don't remember how we got to the point of us walking to Dairy Queen.
I don't know either. I just know that's the only part I remember.
Yeah, it literally fast forward. I don't know if it's 30 minutes, an hour later. Like, it started getting later in the evening, and everyone was like, the carnival was boring. So we were like, we should go to Dairy Queen. So me and Paulina and you and we all walked to...
Should you not use names?
Should I not use names?
I don't think you should use names.
Okay, fine. Me and Paulina and you and my boy, my homeboy, we walked to Dairy Queen. And I remember that's another one I remember for sure, is that on the way to Dairy Queen, you guys were in front of us, and I was in the back talking to Paulina. And we were just goofing around, just being us, being stupid. Because that's one thing, like, Paulina, I love messing with Paulina. She's, like, one of my favorite people to mess with at the time, for sure. So we were just in the back talking. And this is how I remember it. Him coming back, or you guys slowing down, but somehow him getting to me and being like, we're talking, but I don't really know what to say, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, all right, well, I'll go talk to her. So then I went up and talked to you, and he stayed back with Paulina, and we kept walking. Was I not supposed to use Paulina's name either?
No, she's fine. Just
okay.
Don't make sure to edit that out.
Okay.
Like the name.
But yeah, so I'm walking with you now, and he's walking with Paulina. And I remember us just talking. Like, I remember at the time I was in a very serious 8th grade relationship. You were in a very serious 7th grade relationship. Very committed, very serious,
so committed.
Very exclusive. But yeah, we were talking. I remember you telling me about who you were dating at the time. I was telling you about who I was dating at the time, and we were just talking. That's how I remember it. Like, is that not the right detail?
No, that's true.
That's true, right? Yeah. And so we were talking, and we literally were just like, just being friendly, like, just, oh yeah, like, what's your school like, whatever.
You
like,
were flirting.
Small talking. I probably was flirting.
You were
most
flirting.
likely I was flirting with you.
Oh yeah, you were flirting.
But I was still, I made
wasn't.
sure. Okay.
I was not flirting.
Okay.
I wasn't. I've always been very committed and faithful. Why are
well,
you
yeah.
making that
Of
face?
course, you've always been very committed and faithful, but you were feeling your boy.
You were flirting.
You saw me.
No.
And you said, milk chocolate, what?
No.
Be real.
No.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But, no, I really honestly don't remember, like, I don't remember going out of my way to be flirtatious. I don't remember anything that I was doing where I was like, yeah.
But, like, you
I was probably trying to seem cool, that's for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, when you're a 7th grade or 8th grade boy and you're talking to, like, a freaking beautiful girl, you're, like, trying to be as cool as possible. Let's be real.
Sure.
Okay.
I think you were flirting.
At least we agree with that.
A little bit.
Okay. We disagreed on that, but okay. And yeah, so we go to Dairy Queen. We spend that whole evening just like kicking it.
You got my number.
For him leaving for he who must remain nameless.
Yeah, you got my number for your friend. I don't know why I gave you my number if I was in a relationship.
I don't either. See, I was very faithful and very committed.
I've never thought about that detail.
Me neither, actually. Now that you say that, I never thought about that either.
That's weird.
'Cause I'm telling you, Milk chocolate, what?
No.
I'm telling you right now.
Anyways.
And it's funny too because I think back to like that time and I was not the kid that like, I'm pretty sure I had braces still.
Yeah, you had braces.
I was not the kid that like dressed the flyest
Chubby
whatsoever.
cheeks.
Chubby cheeks, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, shout outs to you for still being friendly to me. But, not that if you have braces and you dress terribly, you shouldn't be talked to. That's not the message I'm sending whatsoever. But, because I feel like I'm a pretty good person to get along with. I'm pretty easy to get along with. But, silence from you. Nice. Awesome. But yeah, so we were leaving and I remember asking you for your number for him. And then I remember texting you and being like, he wants to know if you like him, whatever. And you were like, no, I really have a boyfriend. Yeah, like I'm really in a relationship. I was like, okay, cool. So then after that, I don't remember anything for a while. I don't remember talking
either. Like, I don't remember how it happened that we just like became friends.
Right. Yeah, I don't either. But I do know that somewhere along the way, we end up reconnecting. I do remember the next time I saw you after that was when you came to a basketball game at KMS.
And I think I was single at that point.
Okay, go ahead. Sandra, great. I know, it's just funny because like we were so young.
I know.
So when you think about a relationship, it's like I was single. It's like, what does that even mean when you're in middle school? Right. But in the moment, it's so serious.
Right.
You know, you're like, yo, no, like I'm in a relationship. Yeah. But anyway, so you come to school and I literally still remember you were in a pink tank top and you were in like white plaid shorts. Right? I'm pretty sure that's what you were. Did you? Right? I like now knowing
Maybe.
you, I don't think you would ever wear plaid shorts now.
I would never wear
but then I'm
2008
like
was a different time, okay?
I'm 90% sure. At least I'm 100% sure that's my memory. Like that you had on white plaid shorts. Okay, cool.
I definitely did.
So I remember that. I literally remember being in the park across the street from KMS. Your mom's Tahoe pulling up and me like seeing it and being like, because I was just a little Southside kid, so I was like, who pulling up right now? And then you got out of the car and I was like, oh, is the love of my life.
Okay.
Oh.
Meanwhile, in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was in a relationship at that point though, honestly. I don't remember. But I do remember that like,
I think you were.
Factual, when I first saw you, 100%, I was like, she's absolutely gorgeous. That's 100%. In a relationship or not. I do remember that. I was like, wow, she's stunning. Factual, when you pulled up that day, I do remember being like, oh, it's Sandra. Like, and wanting to go talk to you. I'm pretty sure I called out to you.
You did.
I was like, hey, baby. No, I didn't. I definitely didn't.
I
My mom
do
would kill me. I was
remember
never
that
that kid.
actually. I think you did like come up to me.
I think, yeah, I shouted your name or something. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, and I just said, what's up to you? And you were like, oh, I'm here for the game. And I was like, okay, cool. And you just kept walking. That was pretty much it. Right?
No.
What?
You.
I genuinely remember it like that.
You were the mascot.
Not at that, no, not at that
Yes,
point.
you were.
I give you my word, I was not the mascot at that
Yes,
point.
you were.
I was. Okay.
He's saying, listen to my mom. You were.
No, I 100% factual. I 100% was the mascot. I'm not sure but I don't remember being the mascot for games though. That's the thing.
But that time you were. I do remember you being the mascot at that game because I think you had a break and then you went and saw me, and I was there obviously with Paulina at the time too.
Right. For sure.
And I think my school was.
It was your school, yeah. Because your boyfriend at the time was there, yeah.
Right. And you were playing the mascot because I remember you goofing around the whole time.
Really?
And trying to make me laugh. Yes.
Wow. That's crazy. That's an even better story. Me being the mascot makes that story so much better. Because at the time you were dating the jock. That's a freaking movie. You have to admit. You have to admit. The person you were dating at the time was a basketball player who was going against the dude from my school that liked you at the time. That was my boy. Who was a basketball player.
Yeah.
And the mascot, who is a scorpion, that was that mascot looked awful. Like,
oh my gosh.
Shout out to you if you designed the Kyrie Middle School mascot, because that joint is terrible. But
anyways,
wow, I do not remember it like that. That's really cool. I like that story even more now. That's so funny because that's so like that's just such a movie moment. I don't know.
Okay, we gotta fast forward.
But okay.
Yeah, that's how it happened.
So then that's how that went down.
And then afterwards, you I think the next time, like, we just kind of kept in touch, and you'd just be like, hey, like, how are you doing? Good, you know? And then I got out of a relationship before you did.
Right.
And then we still just kind of, like, talked as friends.
Right.
And then after that, I remember you texted me saying, like, hey, I'm no longer in a relationship. And then we started talking more and more.
That was my gangster move right there.
Okay. And so after that, like, we just started hanging out, and then you told me you liked me, and then you told me you wanted to date me.
I said, girl, you the apple of my eye.
No, you didn't.
You the sweetest thing.
No.
Since manufactured maple syrup.
And so we started dating.
Mm-hmm. High school. My sophomore year. Your freshman year.
My freshman year.
So we were friends for about 2 years. We started talking, obviously, before we were dating, whatever talking means. But anyway, so fast forward. We dated throughout all of high school.
It was rough.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible.
Rough.
I was an awful person by far.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, and so that was super, super rough. That's a whole podcast in and of itself.
That really is.
That's a documentary.
Dating through high school.
That's a documentary. But so that's how we started dating. Right? And now fast forwarding into how we got married. Now let's see. Christmas Day 2017.
This literally gives me anxiety.
Still?
Yes.
Yeah. But Christmas Day 2017, I had it set up.
This man decided to blindfold me.
What?
Take me to the mountain.
What? You tell this story terribly, please. Okay, actually, I would like to hear how you tell it. Go for it.
And record the whole thing.
I don't want to talk about it.
And literally blindfold me, take me up the mountain on Christmas Day.
And I lost the footage.
And no, I'm not there yet. Hold on.
I know, but when you say he blindfolded me, took me to the mountain, and recorded the whole thing, that sounds really creepy.
And when I opened my eyes, my whole family was standing around with sparklers and your family.
Yeah.
And then you got on one knee and asked me to marry you.
But it was at North Mountain Park.
It was.
It was not some random mountain.
No, it was like a platform. It was really
and
cute.
I did not
really,
randomly
really
blindfold you. I had two of my best friends say, we have a surprise for you.
Right.
And so you're leaving out some details.
Because I'm traumatized.
No. So I had to, we went to stop by, two of my best friends, we went to stop by their house Christmas Eve. And I was like, I told them, okay, say we have a surprise for you before you go. So I said, oh, I have to go. My mom's calling me. We have to go to my mom's house now to visit my family. Then they said, wait, we have a present for you, but it's not here. We have to blindfold you guys. Sandy, we're going to blindfold you too because we don't want you to give it away if you see it. And so they blindfolded both of us. Thank you very much. And
he was not blindfolded.
No, I was blindfolded at first, and then I took it off because obviously you couldn't see. So then we went to the mountain, and it was at North Mountain Park, and it was a platform. It was not just a random, like, dust-filled, in the bushes mountain. It was a platform on the mountain. Still one of my favorite places to go. I just haven't been there since COVID. But then when you got there, we took the blindfold off. Your family, my family, as you said, were there. Sparklers. Talked to you a little bit.
Oh, will you marry me?
Spit a rap. I said, girl, I want to be with you for the rest of my days.
And guess what, you guys?
Guess what?
He lost the footage.
I did lose the footage. Yeah.
I can't let it go to this day.
I don't like to talk about
really
that
sad
part.
about
I
it.
can't talk about that part yet. I might need therapy just for losing the footage.
I might need therapy for it too.
That was a traumatic experience in our relationship.
It is.
But so that's how we got married. That's how I proposed.
Mm-hmm. December 25th of 2016, and then we got married October 2017. So that's what, 10 months? Yeah.
Sure.
10 months. About 10 months. And we got married in Rocky Point. Mm-hmm. So that was stressful because having to plan and go back and forth. Mm-hmm. But it was most definitely the wedding of my dreams.
Hey.
Was it the wedding of your dreams?
Thank you. Absolutely.
I think the only thing
I loved everything about our wedding.
The only thing that went wrong was our DJ was a little drunk.
Yeah, no, our DJ almost lost his life that night. That's for sure.
And
my brother almost knocked his teeth out.
Our videographer was like awful.
Our videographer was trash.
Which was really sad. But we have the most amazing pictures, so that's...
Shout out to Shay.
Shay, man.
Shout out to Shay.
She's amazing.
Bree Photography. Is that what she still goes by?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Shay Bree. Go to her.
She's amazing.
She's with the smoke.
And then we've been married ever since. We're about to be 3 years in.
Coming up on 3 years, and with a
baby.
About to be 8 month old. I keep wanting to say 8 month old baby. Isn't
That's
that crazy?
Trying to eat your hat.
But so that is actually effectively eating my hat. Thank God I just washed it, so it's okay. But
that's a long story.
That is a long story. But getting into the important stuff, which hopefully won't be too long with since the story took up most of it, is being married in this culture, right? Being married in 2020, and not even just 2020, obviously, because 2020 isn't even a year. I'm convinced that 2020 is not a time right now. We're in a dream.
We're paused.
Yeah, we're paused. The world is paused. But what is that like? I would say that's something that I wanted to talk about. Just what is it like to be married and navigate through marriage in a world, obviously we are believers and followers of Jesus Christ, and living in a world where a lot of people believe that marriage is kind of just almost like a political construct. It's not really it's not God ordained. It's just a certificate. It doesn't really mean anything. It just causes problems. We see celebrities that get married, and then there's prenuptial agreements, and divorces everywhere. There's so many things that happen, right?
Right.
So I kind of wanted to give our perspective and encouragement. We can do both of them in one. They're supposed to be two separate points,
right,
but
they work
yeah.
together.
So you can kick that off, babe.
I think it's like hard to be married. It's like hard but easy at the same time, It's like hard in the sense that there aren't very many couples that are married our age, or that have been married for a while. So it's hard to have like those friendships with people that are married close to our age,
Yeah.
I think that's the hard part, like finding the community.
Right.
And I think another part is so many people, at least like in the church world, are like so happy for you, so excited, but then when it comes down to it, like don't even check up on you or how your marriage is going, which like sucks, but I think like on the other hand, because a lot of people are like, don't do it, like don't get married so young, you're wasting your life, like your 20s are to have fun and explore, and like you're gonna settle down so early, you have your whole life for that, and stuff like that. But I would say like that's definitely not true, because I think I've most definitely enjoyed my life more in the last 3 years with getting to see so many different things, with getting to travel, with learning so much about myself, learning about you, like getting to meet a whole bunch of people, just so many different things that I feel like we've had the privilege to do since being married that otherwise wouldn't happen, and I think at the end of the day, like it's so nice to have someone to come home to, that is not gonna give up because it's tough, you know, or is someone that like at the end of the day you can look forward to watching TV with or cuddling with or whatever it is. Like you have your person, whether it's like a good day or a terrible day and all you want to do is sit and cry and eat ice cream, you know, like you have someone there.
Yeah.
And I think especially in this time, like in this season of so many people feeling lost and needing someone, you know, like I think we're super, super lucky, and I'm super grateful, you know, that we are married, that we get to quarantine together, that we get to, like, although it sucks, like, at least we have each other, and, like, we can crack jokes here and have fun together and laugh and come up with, like, stupid things to do, you know, whereas if we weren't, I would probably be super depressed, like, just home by myself with my family and just, like, everyone doing their own thing, you know what I mean? So I think, like, those are some of the pros and cons, like, not necessarily to being married young, but just like things that people had said to us, or how it's reflected of, you're too young, you're throwing your life away so early, but it's like, no, why not just add more time, you know, like, why not just add, like, more adventures with the person you love, which just makes it so much better than if you were to travel by yourself, than if you were to go see something by yourself, you know, because now it's like, I'm so excited to see this place, but I'm even more excited because you get to go with me, you know, like, now he gets to go with us. And it's like, look at what our marriage created.
Hey, little baby.
Little cute baby boy.
Little handsome. But that's one of the things that you heard a lot, actually, was, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do it? You're so young. Which is funny because at the time you were 21, right? That's not that young. I mean, I guess to get married, but I've known people that got married younger, you know? It's not crazy young. But you would think, like, you would hear more encouragement around it. But again, I think that in the world that we live in,
they're just... Sorry.
No, you're good. Go for it.
I think the world is just so used to seeing so many failed marriages that it's like usually people that do get married young, like celebrities, they end up divorced, you know? So I think there's a lot of, like, wait till you're in your late 30s and you've explored, because you're gonna get cheated on, you're gonna this, that, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. So people push that really heavily because they don't see successful marriages.
Which is one of my least favorite pieces of advice ever, is like, or just thought processes in general. Like, that's one of my least favorite, because this idea that you need to explore the world first before you get married. Like, I've literally read and seen and heard stories of people that got married when they were, like, or not got married, I'm sorry, met when they were, like, I mean, you look at, I mean, even Chance the Rapper, right? Like, he's somebody that knew his wife since he was even younger than we were. You know, there's a lot of people that,
like,
there's, I believe there's an older couple that I know that was from our church that knew each other since they were super young, got married, and again, it's like, it's this idea that you have of, like, marriage is an end of the road instead of marriage is the beginning of a journey.
I think that's huge.
Right? Where people say, you get married, what else is there to do in life? You're tied down. You can't do this. You can't do that. Which, if we're approaching marriage from a biblical standpoint, God said the two shall become one. Like, that's amazing. It's hard. It's difficult. There's so much trial and error in the process, of course. You want the hat? No. But what you can't neglect the fact that it's like you said, when you think about it, it's like, I get to experience these things. If I can obviously achieve and work on a healthy marriage, then I get to experience all those amazing things with you. So I've heard it a lot that's like, you need to get out there and explore, you need to be with different people, you need to do all these different things. And it's like, that's really interesting, because I don't see any really healthy relationships. Nobody that I know that's in an extremely healthy relationship. Let's be real, not everybody's in an extremely healthy relationship. There's people that are unhealthy, people that are just average healthy, you know what I'm saying? But, like, nobody that's in an extremely healthy marriage that I know has told me the philosophy of, yeah, man, my marriage is great. Like, before we got married, I was able to explore, be with a bunch of different people. It didn't add anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like this very beneficial factor. Like, my marriage is greater now because I've been different places. I've seen the world. I've done this. I've been with different people. Now I'm married, and that makes my marriage better. Obviously, if you have a lot of experience, like traveling the world, sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I've traveled a few places that I would like to take you, absolutely awesome. But the mentality that I'm not ready because I need to explore is like,
crazy.
What do you think marriage is? Like, that shows that a lot of people think marriage is this very boring, very tied down, very mundane thing that's like, why would I do that? But again, it's because a lot of people have been divorced. It's because a lot of
put in the work.
They don't put in the work. They don't approach it like, I want to, like, our goal, at least I believe, is like to approach marriage from a standpoint of like, I'm going to pour all my energy into one person. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Which is like, to me, makes a lot more sense than I'm going to pour all my energy into different people.
Right.
You know, or I'm going to pour all my energy into just myself. How amazing is it that, like, when we got married, our ability is to pour our energy into each other, our love into each other, and now a child.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, from there, it builds, right? And so, again, in the culture, in the world that we live in, I think, and honestly, it's just a human experience that we get to a point where we can get very, like, we project our experiences onto other people, yeah. which I totally get that. I understand if something happened to you that hurt you, then naturally when somebody else goes to do it, you're going to be like, ooh.
Don't do it, it's bad.
Because all you have is your experience.
Right.
You can only speak out of your experience. But another thing that I would like to say is, if you're going to get married, be around married people. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're going to get married, if you're hanging around a bunch of single people, you're like, all that's going to be highlighted is reasons to not get married.
Right.
Or if you're blessed with it, reasons to get married. And not all single people are like that, though.
Right.
I don't want to give that picture of like all single people are miserable, and if you're not married, you're an idiot, and everybody has their own experience. But for us, we experienced that a lot of people were saying, good luck, like, it's too early, you're too young, you should explore more, you should do this, you should do that, all these you shoulds. And rarely, like, my dude Kyle was the only person I remember that said to me literally, dude, it's awesome.
Shout out to Kyle.
Shout out to KP. Like, literally, he was the only person that was like, dude, you're getting married, like, man, you're gonna love it, it's awesome, we love it. Him and Lorraine were like, we love it.
Yeah.
They're the only people off the top of my head that were like, yo, like, congratulations, I'm happy for you. And my dude Tony De La Rosa, he was also somebody that was like, yo, I'm so excited for you. Like, and I remember he posted, I think, on my Instagram picture of when I proposed, and he said, this is what Jesus does. And he was like super hyped for me. And it's like, but even if there's a few more, on one hand, I could probably count that. Right. Whereas all fingers and toes to count the people that were like, think about it.
Are you know? Sure?
Right. And my mom, obviously my mother was extremely supportive. Like, not one point was my mom like, ugh, good luck. Sure? Or you're going to do this, or you're going to be like that, whatever. Never has my mom ever done that. No. Like, my mom totally since day one was like, I love that girl. And I want that girl to be my daughter-in-law. Like, since day one, my mom's loved you. So, anyway, I feel like this is, she did call it. She called it really early on. Yeah, she did. But I feel like this is getting lengthy, but we should continue it. I feel like we should do another episode.
Really?
I feel like there's so much to unpack. Okay. There's so much more to talk about. Okay. You know, you're like, not for me, I'm done. But I really do feel like there's a lot to unpack. But encouragement for the day. For this episode, one encouragement. If you had one encouragement to give young people for this episode, and we'll continue next week. Young married people. If there was one thing, one word of encouragement, or just all young people in general around marriage, the topic of marriage.
Do it. Best thing ever. Sleep over every night.
Sleep over every night. I mean, yeah, I guess that's what living together is. That's your word. That's Sandy V's word of encouragement. May the record state that her word of encouragement is, it's like a sleepover every night. We do each other's nails, we do each other's hair and makeup.
No, I just think, okay, so I guess it would be like, like, it really is the best thing ever if you're willing to put the work in.
If you're
like, that's not to say that it's easy. That's not to say that we don't argue. That's not to say that we don't have days where I'm like, oh my gosh, don't come near me. You know, like that stuff happens.
Yeah.
And it's very real.
Absolutely.
You know, but like when you put in the work, it's beneficial.
Yeah.
You know, like you see it all play out, and it's like it is so worth it because you have like your best friend with you,
right,
going through all these stages of life, and you're on good terms, you know, and you see eye to eye, and you like understand each other with just the look, you know what I mean? And it's like such a deep thing that like I really do think everyone should get to experience it, you know. And like I said, it's a lot of work, and unfortunately a lot of people aren't willing to put in the work.
Right.
And I guess I would also say, like, surround yourself with a community of young married people if you can, or at least a couple that's older that you can look up to, because there's stuff that goes on sometimes that you're just like, man, I wish I could get advice from someone that's been through it already. Absolutely. You know. And if you don't have anyone, it's like hard, and you don't just reach out to someone random, you know, and just like, hey,
you don't just
this
trust.
is a personal deep issue, how did you get through it? Because you don't know who's been through it or who hasn't. So
not only that, but I feel like I've gotten a lot of bad advice before. So my thing is like, don't trust just anyone with your most prized possession. Like, my marriage is my most prized possession in my life. Now, obviously, my son as well. But like, our marriage, had it not been for our marriage, we wouldn't have had the circumstance to have this guy the way we did. We wouldn't be in the situation we are now. So it's like, it would have just been very different, you know? For us, like, my marriage is so crucial to me that I'm not just going to walk to anybody, right? If you have $1 million, you're not going to walk up to just anybody off the street.
What do I do with it?
Yeah, anybody.
How
like,
do I invest?
And that's my word of encouragement is like, or one of them at least, like, if you have $1 million, you're not going to go to somebody that's broke and ask them what to do with it. Right? Like, I'm not, and that's no disrespect to single people. That's no disrespect to people that have been divorced. I've been around plenty of people that have been divorced and have still given me pretty good advice. But my best advice has come from the people that, like my mentor, who has been married for a long time, you know, and other people that have been married even longer. And so I think that would be the analogy that I would give is like, if you have all that money, you're going to go to somebody that has experience in investing all that money and being successful with the investment, because marriage is an investment, you know? And so for us, like, I'm not just going to waltz up to somebody that is dating and just tell them all my business about my marriage. You know, I've talked to people that were dating before about my marriage stuff, and it was like, they listen, but they didn't really have anything to offer, you know, which is totally fine if you're a friend, you know. But at the end of the day, what you want to think about is like, man, if I'm gonna walk up to you and I'm gonna spill the beans and I'm gonna really let you into my heart, and I'm gonna trust you with my wife, because I'm not just trusting you with myself, I'm trusting you with my wife. If I tell you I'm mad at her, I need to trust the fact that you're not gonna change your view on her. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm saying, man, me and Sandy are going at it, we're upset, whatever the circumstance may be, I need to trust the fact that you're not going to say, you know what, she's being an idiot, you know, like, bump her, whatever, you know. Why are you making that face right now?
That's funny.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be able to trust. You have, like, plenty of friends, like, and Morgan's the perfect example that you've been mad at me plenty of times, but I've never known Morgan to disrespect me, you know, like, and she's one of our closest friends, you know, and
if anything, she sides with you.
She does.
I'm just kidding.
She's my homegirl. But really though, you know, like, she's had plenty of opportunities.
She has like great advice of like, okay, we'll see it from his perspective, or like, don't jump to conclusions type of thing.
Which is few and far between. It's not every day that you have somebody that is that understanding to be like, man, you know what? Like, I get it, but try to see it from their perspective too. Because I mean, look at all the shows that we've watched where people are like, oh my gosh, and they have all these opinions to throw in. But it's rare when you have a friend that's actually like, I got you, but like, give them the benefit of the doubt, or you need to turn around, waltz your butt back into that house and figure it out, you know? So yeah, I think that would be my word of encouragement for the day, is just marriage is an extremely, extremely, extremely important investment. And if you're gonna embark on that journey, like, understand it as an investment. Understand it as, yes, there is a risk. Like, I know people are like, oh, but divorce happens. Divorce is always a very real thing. We decided before we got married, divorce is not an option. Like, that's not in the books for us. We're like, we're gonna figure this thing out no matter what we have to do. And so at the end of the day, like, you have to go into marriage with this mindset of like, it's all or nothing.
Right, and it's not on the table. Because
yeah.
I think if you go in thinking like, okay, if this,
right,
or when this happens, it's like you're setting yourself up for that
for sure.
disaster already. You know what I mean? Whereas if you go in like, I'm gonna work till there's nothing in me, you know? Obviously, if it comes down to like disrespectfulness and that's a whole different conversation. That's different, you know?
Right, absolutely.
But just because we don't agree on something, you know, we don't agree on like what school he's gonna go to, we're not gonna. Right. That's crazy.
Right. It's like, get over it. Right. Like, one of us needs to get over it and move on. And again, I agree. Like, God forbid something serious is happening, but like, it needs. I feel like marriage is one of those things. Like, you give it every ounce of everything you've got, and then if it really is something detrimental, it's like, yeah, okay, this isn't it. Right. This isn't it. But not just for. It's not dating. You know, it's not this dating thing where it's like, we should just break up. It's like,
or we need a break.
Yeah, marriage is very different. Marriage is like, it's a commitment amongst all commitments. It is an everyday thing. It takes all the work you've got. It takes all the humility you've got. It takes two humble people or people that are willing to be humbled. Like, you have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to drag your ego through the dirt and grind it into dust and get rid of it. Your preferences, sometimes you got to be willing to get rid of those. It really is just like, it's sacrifice, but it's sacrifice for
reaps the
one of the greatest, absolutely, one of the greatest possible things, which is true oneness with someone else, being truly accepted by someone else, being truly unconditionally loved by someone else. Like, marriage is supposed to be in scripture, it says that marriage is to be a reflection to the world. Like, the way a husband loves his wife is supposed to be the way Christ loved the church. So we are to be a reflection into the world of God's love. So it doesn't get better than that. You know, like, it doesn't get harder than that, but it also doesn't get better than that.
It's true.
Which is not, it's not coincidence that the hardest relationship you'll ever have is marriage.
Yeah.
But then the most rewarding relationship you'll ever have is marriage. You know? Mm-hmm. So I think it's a good place to leave it for today.
That was good.
We'll pick up next week. Quote.
More next week?
Yeah, I feel like there's more to unpack, girl. I feel like there's more.
Okay, quote.
Quote of the day. Drop it on us, Sandy B. You're the quote.
Okay. Your marriage is a message and people are watching you preach.
Say it again a little bit louder for the people in the back.
I'm just kidding. Your marriage is a message and people are watching you preach.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
Huge.
Thank you. It is. It really is. And
it's true.
That's pretty much what we just talked about too. You know, people are they're gonna see who you are. Your true colors shall show in marriage.
Good stuff.
Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. And stay healthy. Stay joyful. Stay soulful. Peace.